Scott Penzi, Supply Chain Guru here. Welcome to part 2 of building a return on investment or business case for a barcoding and data collection project. So our second component of the return on investment in the business case is going to be labor. I would say that this is where we're going to see the biggest amount of savings because this is where the real impact happens inside of a business. So let's get to it. First area that we're going to look at is if your company is experiencing any sort of positive annual growth rate. What that typically means is that you need to hire more bodies. So if you're running an ERP system and an operation that's based off of pen and paper, what is very typical is that companies, to support that growth, you simply need more eyeballs and more hands inside of the process. So what we're going to look to do here is to eliminate the need to hire additional full-time employees at whatever burdened rate. Burdened rate, if you don't know what that means is that is their hourly rate or their salary plus the benefits that the company is paying. So what we're saying here is if you've got a positive annual growth rate, let's call it 5%, and over the course of the next year, your warehouse operations, you feel that you're going to need to hire an additional 2 full-time employees to be able to support that growth because you don't have any systematic way or technology to handle that growth. Each one costs you $40,000 a year, including benefits. So the cost here is $80,000. Now, if you implement a barcoding and scanning system, what we're saying here is that you're going to be able to implement a system that's going to allow your warehouse to operate without having to add those employees. So it's if the company is a negative growth rate, then that is a very different conversation. We can flip it the other way, and if we have to eliminate bodies, I don't really like talking about that, but if we have to eliminate bodies or individuals from the workforce, then that's how we offset that cost. Second piece inside of building a return on investment centers around labor cost reductions. And when I say that, what I mean really is overtime and data entry time. So a lot of times inside your operations, your team members are working overtime because there's just so much stuff to do and they're not working as efficiently or as productively as they could if they had some kind of a system that would help them and be a tool inside of that process. And as a result of that, we see a lot of overtime and a lot of reductions in overtime by implementing a more scalable solution that allows them to do their job without kind of this white noise of communication that's required to be able to read, handwritten receipts, the walkie-talkie communication that tends to flow inside of a business. Is this a 2? Is this a 3? And so what we typically see is anywhere from a 5 to 50% reduction in the amount of overtime required inside of a business. The second piece that we're seeing here is specifically around data entry. So a barcoding and data collection project is going to take the place and it's going to eliminate the need to hand key PO receipts, inventory transfer data, picking. When we've done the picking, we don't have the pick tickets going back to some kind of a data entry clerk to be able to enter and confirm the pick confirms to do the invoicing, etc. So we're going to eliminate that as a part of the process. So those are hours, those are dollars, those are bodies, those are individuals inside of the business that we're going to be able to shift to other sides of the business. Third section here is you may or may not be inside of a state that has an increasing minimum wage. I live in California. California, we've had a multi-year phased minimum wage increase over the spanning 5 years. And so essentially in California, the cost of labor over the span of 5 years is costing businesses 33% more due to that increase. The other piece of this is competition. Right now we're in a labor shortage. So what does that mean? That means that individuals and skilled laborers are more expensive than they were last year. And as the economy continues to increase and move along, that trend will continue upwards. The last piece that we want to factor into this return on investment are the cost of mis-shipments. Mis-shipments and the cost of mis-shipments comprise of 2 components. One is the labor that's involved to coordinate shipping the replacement product, receiving back the bad product, and then the second piece of that is the freight expense that's incurred. And so this could vary wildly depending upon your level of business. So an average cost to process a mis-shipment can be anywhere from $100 up to several $1,000s depending upon your business. So that's it, the last component. This is Scott McKenzie, Supply Chain Guru. Hope you're having an awesome day.